Hello YouTube, Ruth Basque here again with another video. Tonight I thought for Divination Tuesday we would look into animal spirit guides. And this book, which is called Animal Spirit Guides, is written by this author right here, Stephen D. Furman. He has a PhD. You can also use them for divination and guidance as well, because this book tells you what each animal means that you might see that shows up in your life. And it could be something under a daily basis, or it could be something quite unusual. It all depends on what you feel. And the book gives you a list of these animals that you can use, that could show up in your life. It tells you how to use it, a step-by-step on how to use the book for that purpose. They're in alphabetical order, and the animals, like from the beginning, from A through, are listed in alphabetical order. In part 1, we have the aardvark, and it tells you a little bit about the aardvark. If you live in an area where there are aardvarks, then this animal probably wouldn't mean too much, unless, of course, it wandered right up into your yard and into your house. Then there would be a significant reason to pay attention to that. So I'm going to try to read a little bit of what it says here about the aardvark. So if aardvark shows up, it means that your instinctual senses to sniff out what's right for you and what's not. Trust your instinctive senses to sniff out what is right for you and what is not. It's best to be slow and courageous when starting a new project or relationship until you feel that it's safe to move ahead. This isn't a time to be particularly social, but rather one to spend in quiet and solitude. So like if you're having, areas in your life, like you are looking for something that's right for you, you would call on him to help you find it. If you saw this animal, it could mean that you are needing, that what you're looking for and sniffing out is right for you, and the aardvark will help you do it. And if you need to be slow about moving into a new job or moving into a relationship and the aardvark shows up, then it's telling you that you need to be slow, and he can help you with that. If he's telling you not to be social, like if you're feeling like you need to not be social and you need to pull back and spend time in solitude, then the aardvark can help you with that. And when you're spending time in solitude, it means you need to turn into yourself to see what's right for you, to meditate on yourself spiritually, to think about yourself and concentrate on things that are of the spiritual nature or spiritually religious nature, Wiccan, Christianity. It doesn't really matter. It's something you need to turn into and spend more time with. And then it's also look below the surface of appearances and find out what's underneath. So, don't judge people by the way they look, but look below the surface and find out what's underneath that person. It also can mean everything will be events will be the most protective time for eventings will be the most protective time for whatever project or creative effect you're working on. And then it gives you a list on when to call up on aardvark for advice. You're having a difficult distinction of the truth from falsehood of a situation or of what someone is communicating to you. You're attempting to unearth some important information that will help you resolve some questions you've heard. You've been assigned to investigate a particular subject related to your work or role and have to get the most relevant information quickly. You have to get to the bottom of a recent incident or a problem very quickly. So he will actually move things along quickly. And that's just the aardvark. This book has several animals like that tells you if they show up. And when I figure when a spirit animal is coming to you, they'll show up in a most unusual way. With me, as of late, my encounter was actually with a deer. And it was quite interesting because I was coming back from the hospital after being rushed to the emergency room, and because I was having a panic attack and a mild heart attack that caused a mild heart attack. I was there for a long time, and by the time I got out, the buses weren't running, and I didn't have the money for like a cab, and the hospital couldn't supply me with a ride, which they actually should have done, considering why I was in there. And I actually started walking and was thinking, okay, it's late at night, it's dark, I have poor night vision. In fact, I have what is called night blindness, so I could barely see. But for some unknown reason, at this particular time, I actually saw these particular deer, and it was a mother deer and her two does. And being one who can't see in the night, the light from the parking lot hit them just right, and I saw them perfectly. And I was nervous and getting ready to freak out again because I didn't know which way I was supposed to go from the hospital parking lot, which way Robert Street was, so that I could head home. And as odd as it may seem, these 3 deers actually just pulled up out of nowhere, and they actually pounced in front of me a little ways and would stop. They looked back over their shoulders to see if I followed, and something told me to follow them, and I did. And they would pounce a little further up, then they'd look back, see if I was still following, and I still had this feeling I was supposed to follow these deer. And so I kept following them, and then when I got to where I recognized the street I needed from the parking lot of the hospital, I knew at that point these 3 deer were showing me how to get out of where I was at and the right path to head home. And that was amazing, and a nice way for a spirit guide to work with you. So that was something unusual. So I actually looked them up and discovered that I need to work with deer more, because I have been actually ignoring the deer. I've also looked up the divinity associated with deer, which is Artemis. And that was quite interesting, because the white deer is Artemis' special animal. And so the deer, it was a white-tailed deer too. You're entering into a time of plenty, but the path to get there has not been without sacrifice, which is very true, because it's like I had to sacrifice a lot of things in the period of my life before I can get to where I now can afford to get for myself. And then it has other remarks on deer too. You've been involved in some aggressive negative circumstances. You need to seek out safe, nurturing, and sustenance people. This is true because the night that I was rushed to the hospital, it was an aggressive and negative circumstance that put me there. And so that really hit home with me there. And then more than ever, you need to trust your gut instinct. Which is something I hardly ever do, because my gut can actually be wrong 95% of the time. So I need to start trusting my gut more often. You're poised for an interesting adventure, one that will take you down a different path and lead you to many important insights. Be gentle with yourself and others. So I am kind of gentle and nice to others, but I'm not gentle with myself. And I can't wait to find out what this new path of interest is for me, because I always love exploring and learning new things. And it's why I do that. So the deer was quite significant for me in that particular time, and I hadn't really thought about it until I read what it said here about deer in the book. I think if a lot of you are interested in divination, and you're also interested in finding spirit guides, this book, Animal Spirit Guide, and there's the author's name again right there, is highly recommended. I recommend him to you for it, because it has hundreds and hundreds of animals, and even ones that aren't in our area, but a lot of them can be found all over the place here. And they don't just come to you physically either. There have been times when I've had dreams about certain animals, like the wolf, which I have had dreamed about before in a lot of my dreams. In fact, I've dreamed about being a werewolf or a shapeshifter who become a wolf. To some people, shapeshifters are negative. To others, they're not. The owl, which is something I've always been drawn to. There's so much information in here about owl. It's not just, a symbol of negativity like to a lot of people, but the owl is so full of information. I thought I'd mention this book today, give you a little information on what things that happened with me on it and how I should have been paying more attention to these. So I pulled this book back out, and I'm going to start working with it more often now, and I'm going to look up, even if they're just in my dream. I'm going to look the animals up and see what they're trying to tell me, because I think it's of vital importance. There are like so many different spiritual guide animals that can help you with situations if you know what to look for. So you can probably get this book in a bookstore. I know for a fact you can get it on eBay or Amazon. And in the meantime, I hope you liked this video. If you did, link it, share it. Hit that subscribe button and the bell so you know when I do more videos, and leave comments below. I'll be interested in hear what you say about it. In the meantime, may the goddess bless you with all of her love. Blessed be all.